starting wherever. I'm going to just check to make sure that we're streaming everywhere we said we were. Usually we do, but you never know. By the way, anybody else still, when they browse to X, go on their browser and type Twitter?
All the
Every
time,
time.
all the time.
Okay, not just me. Good.
No, it's all, and again, I feel like I understand why Daddy Elon wants it to be X,
Sure,
but
yeah.
the the colloquial internet does not want it to be. And I feel like this is where, the same way like people can lose their trademarks if their name becomes synonymous with the object, like a Xerox or rollerblades or Kleenex.
Mm,
I feel like Twitter and tweets are just so ingrained in internet culture that no
yeah,
matter how much money or time or effort you spend trying to rebrand it, it's like telling somebody, let me Google that for you. Like, we're not going to say, let me web search engine that for you. Like, it's part of our vernacular, and changing
right.
it is I think it's too little too late. And even the best branding and marketing firm, even if you had the Mad Men of the 1950s, I don't think that can be saved. I think it's Twitter forever.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. Looks like we're live everywhere. So, GM, everybody, welcome back. Episode 13, lucky 13 of Early Morning Crew. We've had trouble um, tracking which one we're on, but I think we're good. I think this is 13. So this is an exciting one. We will have the whole crew showing up today. So we have on right now Raven and Peachy. Welcome back, Peachy. Tree Girl will be on shortly, and Gramajo as well. I'm not quite sure if Chris will be on, but I mean, 5 out of 6, not bad, not bad. How's everybody's morning? I mean, Peachy, we were catching up. You were talking about trying your best to stay up till 1 a.m. in Japan where you were, but not possible.
It was not possible with how early I had to wake up, but it's really nice to be back stateside. But it's really also interesting to watch the algorithm struggle with me changing time zones so dramatically and who I interacted with, because I've learned that your Farcaster home feed. So okay, while I was in Japan, I did this crazy experiment where I followed no one for like a month and a half just to see what the home feed fed me, and it was quite terrible, but it gave me a lot of insight into how the algorithm kind of thinks. And recency is very, very important. So if you're not seeing people on your timeline and you want to, the best way to do it is to trick the algorithm, go comment on a bunch of their old posts, and then they'll start showing up on your feed again. So it was a bit crazy because now that I've switched time zones, the people I interact with, during my kind of quote core casting hours has really shifted, and the algorithm is again very confused as to what it should show me. And it tends to not show things that are more than 8 or so hours old, but it doesn't realize
Mm,
that half my friends are on the other side of the world, and posts that are 8 hours old to me because I just woke up aren't stale. It's just that I haven't seen them because I was sleeping. So the algorithm doesn't really understand that sometimes something can be several hours old, but still new to me, and I still want to see it, even though it's quote old. So I think that's something that as Farcaster grows, they have to really think about how much they weigh that recency bias versus how much maybe I interact with someone and that I still want to see them even if I switch time zones. Like, it's not that they're not my friends anymore. It's just that we're on kind of complete opposite schedules because I'm
hmm.
awake, they're asleep, and vice versa. So it's been a little tough to keep up with people, but it's been very eye opening. And I'm excited to kind of see how it changes again in March when I switch again.
Oh my goodness. Wait, so do you do this like several times a year?
I do. I
Oh
hunt
goodness.
the sakura, which is the cherry blossoms, and the momiji, which are the red
Mm,
maple leaves. So I tend to be in Japan for both the spring and the fall. And I'm very lucky because that's the best time to be in Japan is the spring and the fall. So I avoid the cold and the hot and just kind of get to enjoy the perfect nature and the perfect weather.
wow. Well, maybe I'll see you because my family, so my wife and myself and my kid, were planning on going up for the Sakura Festival. So we'll see. I'll let you know if we do end up making it up there.
Let's do it. We'll do a Tokyo Farcaster meetup.
Let's go. Cool. Well, let's jump onto some of the things we normally talk about here, which are some of the creator tools that we're trying in terms of trying to amplify, basically leverage them to amplify our audience or the impact that we're making with the content we're creating. I'm gonna throw it to you, Raven. I know you're constantly experimenting. Let's wrap how your challenge went, stream challenge went, first of all, last year, because I know you were trying a few things before the break. How did that go?
The stream challenge was great. I created a um, like an overall report with like the just analytics and like what I found, which I'll be putting out in the coming weeks. But it was really it was dope. It was cool to experiment a little bit, and I'm still trying things. Um, but I found like YouTube to be very, I mean, it's still top dog, and especially with them integrating YouTube Shorts like that. That was because I was streaming long form, so at least for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, but then I was repurposing that content as short clips. And hey, GM Diana,
GM.
and repurposing the long form as short form, and that really helped like all of my socials grow on from Instagram to TikTok to even YouTube. Even if I wasn't posting YouTube videos per se, posting the shorts um, grew my channel significantly.
Yeah.
So um, yeah, I'm going to continue exploring that, and as I continue to get my new setup here figured out. But yeah, it was a cool experiment. Definitely going to keep on streaming, keep experimenting with different times, and also like just like things I'm doing on stream until I really like nail it down. But yeah, having a good time.
So I want to say it. First of all, I want to agree with you in terms of like YouTube Shorts. Underrated. When I was hosting the podcast much more regularly, and I had a lot more content to like split up. I was uploading content to YouTube, and my most viewed and convert and highest conversions came from Shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Long form content is not dead on YouTube. Like the content that we create, to be fair, is not the highest performing content. Okay. So I think as creators, and I'm speaking to Diana, Raven, and myself, because maybe Diana and me more so, because we're podcasters. The way that we create content, YouTube isn't necessarily the most favorable to. Raven, you're
Mm-hmm.
creating it a little bit differently. You're a talking head. I think that that will perform better over time as your audience grows. But for like Diana and myself, like our shorts, the basically taking pieces like of the conversation that we're having that like really stands out 30 seconds to 60 seconds, that's hot. Like that's going to trigger the algorithm to basically embed that content into the stream of what other people are watching that are interested in something similar. And I think because it's a much broader uh I guess, audience to which it could be served versus the long form content, it's a very, very small audience. It's basically like anybody who watches Rehash should watch Crypto Sapiens and vice versa, right? It's very different in the way at it. Now, if we were to produce content differently, maybe the way that you're doing it, Raven, which by the way, 2025 me is definitely doing, um, it's great. It's gonna perform well, but it's about growing your audience as well. So I really enjoyed your journey, Raven, and I learned a lot from it as well. I was trying to find your cast on Farcaster, where you basically shared your stats
Mm.
in base builds. I thought you did it, but I couldn't find it. What I found is you started a new challenge. You're doing 30 days of rodeo, my man. Let's
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
this dude.
yeah. I was like, new year, new challenge, let's get it. And so now, and especially being out here in LA, like everything is a photo, is like picturesque, you know. So as I've been just like, it's helped me get out of the house because I can be like get in hermit mode and sit and just like start working for hours and hours. So it helps me get out the house, go take some photos, and yeah, put them up on rodeo and just see. My thing is like I think sometimes we get caught up in the conversation of like this platform or this blockchain or this L2 or whatever. And I am a creator maxi. Like I'm here for the creators and like figuring out like what tools we can be um, spending our resources, time, and attention and energy on to help sustain us so we can continue to create. And so, rodeo, I'm going to see, what's what on there, see like the 30-day income and just like outcome of the income to see what the potential I don't have like a massive following on there really. I'm not like getting shouted out by the team or it's not like there's no big push or anything like that. It's
Not
very
yet.
organic. So yeah, not yet. So it's super organic. So we're gonna see how the 30 days goes and yeah, adjust from there.
Yeah, I would say if you have questions about rodeo, Zach at Zach Lip on Farcaster, super super amazing guy, like super open, supportive to help. Um, he is a longtime Crypto Sapiens supporter. He ran a challenge in the Crypto Sapiens channel. I don't know if you watched that, but right before the holiday break, or actually during the holiday break, we launched a Moxie campaign. Pichu will love this, where anyone who submitted a curated, uh, not frame, but like a panel curating the art that he's collected across, I think he's like on 6 blockchains. He's got definitely over 10,000 NFTs collected. Most of it photography, but he does have some gen art. He does have, different styles. But what was being submitted was the photography that he's collected. And it was so cool to see people coming together and putting like different uh, art from different artists, different styles, but together based on some common theme. Anyways, a lot of this stuff was coming from Rodeo because he does a lot of collecting. At least recently, he's been doing a lot of collecting on Rodeo. And if you follow him, you'll see he's got tremendous engagement because he's been doing this since Rodeo was announced on Farcaster, and he's grown a community that of other Rodeo fans on Farcaster. So definitely check in with him. Maybe even copy pasta his strategy, which seems to be casting into channels that are rewarding based on engagement of rodeo frames like top nines, which seems to be the way to also connect with other collectors in the community. So shout out rodeo, shout out Zach, shout out Raven for yet again leading the way with another challenge.
Yeah, I also want to throw in check out Peacock, which is
Yeah.
PKOK. That's Sunny's project, and they basically like curate artists, and they've been leaning extremely heavily into rodeo. And I
Hmm.
find if I follow that channel and follow their account, that it surfaces so many amazing new artists that I just would not have come across organically. So they're just doing a really good job of curating and highlighting. And, they might even be interested in grabbing one of your pieces for their weekly drops because they have a hyper
Hmm.
sub and they drop every week. And one day I logged in and I was like, how do I have like 500 extra rodeo pieces? Because I forgot I subscribed to the hyper sub and they all just appeared one day. Because I think maybe Rainbow like changed the setting and they were suddenly popping in my wallet. So it's really great to actually see like how many people have been like, this is cool. Let's play with it and have leaned in really hard. Like not
Hmm.
casually, but like really, really hard. And I think it's making a difference and people are getting excited.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with that more. Peacock, Sunny, that's another great project. I think the subscription, or at least the way that it works, is exactly what Peachy said, is that they find something to share within that community of collectors as a way to like promote the artist. Sunny's a badass too. I've been talking to Sunny, and I think Peachy, you too, since like the old Farhouse days. And he's always been an advocate for artists and feels like everybody's coming around this like rodeo meta, which the meta got pretty hot. Peachy, I don't know if you missed this because I don't think you were in town yet, but the rodeo meta got hot because was it who was the artist? Not Jack Forster. I don't think it was Jack Forster, but there was an artist who apparently minted something on rodeo, which the cost to mint something on rodeo is pennies to the $100 compared to another platform or other platforms. So it's super cheap. But during the holidays, Rodeo introduced the what is it called, the marketplace for you to be able to buy and bid on collections that have already sold out. Raven, you might know this already because you're putting it up there. There's a limit to how long you can mint something, so it's time based. And now there's a secondary market on Rodeo that you can bid, and anyone who had collected, it might have been undefined. I don't remember. It could have been X copy. Some major artist dropped something on Rodeo, and suddenly the secondary went crazy because compared to other marketplaces, this was super cheap, right? And that just started a whole cycle, a new meta around Rodeo and its secondary and the potential that artists can actually monetize, and collectors can like capitalize on being early as well.
Yeah, that mint period is 24 hours on Rodeo.
Yeah, that's what it is. So that's what that is. Rodeo doing some awesome stuff as usual. Big fan. Love to see the Farcaster native or adjacent applications doing well. I still do think that the superpower of Farcaster isn't its social app, it's its social graph, and that anybody can build on it quite easily. So you bootstrap these users, and then the social feature comes after. Um, I don't know. That's what I think. I do think that the Merkle team, who creates Farcaster, understands that. I don't really know that if we need to be focusing too much on like making Warpcast better. Diana, how are you doing? Welcome, GM.
Hi, GM. Sorry for hopping in late and then having issues. Riverside was telling me that I needed to clear some browser data or else my recording wasn't actually being recorded or something. So anyway, I'm here.
Damn. 2025 starting with some heat.
It's
Riverside's
starting off,
bringing the heat.
I know. I think it's because I got a new laptop over the holidays and then this is my first
Woo!
call
Let's
since
go.
let's fucking go. This is my first
Congratulations. Was that
call.
your
Thank you.
was that
Thank
your
you.
Christmas gift?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. Very good gift. Because I went like I kind of went all out too. I was like I loaded up with the features because
Yeah.
the thing is I think I saw like David Phelps or somebody tweet this, but it was something to the effect of like if you especially if you have ADHD, if you can load up on the features and get your processing speed to even like a half a second faster, that is like that reduces your likelihood of switching over to another tab and then going down a 3 hour rabbit hole that you don't need to be going down on like a totally other
Relatable.
topic for 3 hours. So he's like, time is money. You can like invest in yourself, invest in that like the extra features, reduce that processing speed, and that'll just help you be so much more productive. So that really resonated with me. And I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to increase my productivity this year.
So
Let's
I
go.
feel that in my soul because if something doesn't load for like 3 or 4 seconds, I switch to my phone or another device, and then it's like I lose track of what I was doing. And like you said, like
Yeah.
there's an hour lost because a tab
Yeah.
didn't load. And I just can't believe that like I'm that easily distracted, but I also know myself as well. So I think you're so right with that, that like if there are little hacks and sometimes you can spend
Yep.
some extra cash to cut that out, you might get back, 4 hours of your day just by having things go faster. That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. And like when in the back in the fall, I spent like a month in New York City with my sister, and her building has like the fastest Wi-Fi I've ever experienced in my life. And I just could tell that my productivity was going up so much because I could just like I never had a chance to like go off onto another tab and get distracted by other things. And it's funny, we went apartment hunting all day, like all weekend basically. And what it came down to was like there were two places that we both liked. One of them had fiber internet like installed in the building, and the other one didn't. and we ended up going with the one that had fiber internet because I was like, this is like, I will pay premiums. Like, I will do anything to have fast Wi-Fi. That's
Agreed.
terminally online. Yeah, first world problems or the problems of people who are terminally online.
I think that's true though. Most of our lives happen on the internet. I also agree. Like, not for Christmas, but earlier in or late last year, I did buy myself a new phone because almost everything that I do as a creator, if I'm taking pictures, ETH Denver's coming up. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
some like hot mic interviews. Walking around Denver. I do it on my phone, and I'm not gonna underinvest in myself and use a phone that's like I literally was deleting videos to record new videos on my old phone. Like I was out of memory for like a minute, like seriously for like 6 months, and I was like, I get it, first world problems. I get it. I'm like, I can't keep deleting stuff to like keep recording new stuff. Gosh darn it.
No, I've been there. I've been there. Yeah, I've been
and
there.
and I was like, this has a better camera, so I'm gonna do it. Because at the end of the day, you know what? Like, and I don't know if you have tried this yet, but you can use your iPhone. And I sound like a boomer. Okay, I get it. I'm the boomer in the group. Did you know you can use your iPhone camera as your computer camera? So when you're recording videos, it's much crisper. Okay, guys, I get it. I just heard myself. I literally had to sound like the guy that I was going to talk.
Yes, Dad, we knew. Thank you.
All right. So because of that, and because I'm going to do a lot of what Raven is doing, because Raven's the Gen Z leader here. For all I know, Raven's a boomer as well, but he just looks so clean. I'm like, let's call him the
He
Gen Z
seems
of the
cool.
group.
Yeah, he seems cool.
Yeah.
We got like the Humpty's like representing the Gen X. I feel like I'm representing the millennials, and then Raven's out there representing Gen Z. Peachy, I have no idea.
You'll
I have no
never
idea
know.
where you fit in.
Well,
We'll
unless you
never
meet
know.
Peachy. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I can remain a mystery. I'll just be the mysterious X.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the other boomer.
Gramajo's
Great.
probably oh wait, Gramajo's boomer? I was gonna
No.
say Gen Z. Oh.
I'm messing. Only because he's late. Peachy, by the way, we still haven't figured out how to put your darn avatar up here so that it's not just the P square.
I've got to figure out this like the new AI thing without making my MacBook overheat, because I really started playing with it a few months ago and it was getting really hot and it scared me because my MacBook was new at the time and I was like, I cannot break it on like month one trying to do like real time AI manipulation. But I feel like we're gonna get there. It's been a couple months. That means the AI has gotten 10 times better and 20 times faster. So I'm gonna keep playing with it.
I know that if at least some NFT collections that like Doodles and Bored Apes, like some of the what some people call blue chip NFTs, they for their community dropped a filter image that they can use for like Google Meet and Zoom. So like if I wanted to, and if I was recording this not on Riverside but on Google Meet, I could enable my Doodles or Deadfellas filter, and I look like my PFP. So that's pretty rad.
That is cool.
I'm pretty sure Crypto Coven would have done it too, because your witch is badass, and I think your witch should be. I mean, I think that's just your image everywhere. So I would definitely love to see the witch talking.
I mean, that's just how I picture Peachy looking in real life. Is that not what Peachy looks like in real life?
Yes.
I am not that cool.
Well, my expectations are, that's my expectation. If I ever meet you in person, Peachy, I'm going to be looking for your Crypto Coven witch. And if you don't look like that, I'm going to be like, this person is lying to me. That's not Peachy.
Maybe FarCon 2026, I will dress as the witch.
25.
Like, I'll cosplay.
Yes. Why not 25?
Yeah.
Because I'll be coming straight from Japan. So don't know if I could carry all that stuff with me, but
well, have it shipped. I'll ship it for you.
I love it. Humpty's like, ship
I'll
it.
bring it because I'll be there. Just let me know your size, where to go pick it up, and I'll
send him your measurements, okay?
Yeah.
Your address, your social security number, your private keys,
name.
Just send all of it while you're on
Where'd
it.
that go? Where'd that come from? I was just saying I'll carry a package for you, which, by the way, TSA says not to do.
Illegal. Can't do that.
Did
Oh
someone
man.
have you bring this to this state
Yeah, be
that
like,
you
Yeah.
don't
a
know?
witch gave it to me.
I was like,
Is that
someone
cool?
who's never shown their face asked me to bring this to New York for them. I've met Peachy IRL, by the way, at FarCon in LA.
We won't ask you to dox Peachy in real
No, I
on
mean,
stream.
if you meet Peachy IRL, they're a lovely person. They'll probably be the first to come and say hi. But
Peachy is great. I had the pleasure
URL,
of
you'll never know them.
meeting at base camp,
Oh,
and
that's
Oh,
right.
nice.
yeah,
Bummed I
very
missed it.
helpful. As I was trying to find my cabin.
Oh,
Oh, that was such an adventure. Base camp was fantastic, but there was a lot of like, where are we? And we're like, we don't know. Like,
Yeah.
we were just all lost together. But being lost
Yep.
together is better than being lost alone.
Ooh, oh, that's lovely.
that's a good. You should cast that.
That's a boomer thing to say, though.
Are you doxing Peachy as a boomer?
You'll never know.
Some days I feel like a boomer for sure.
I think Peachy, if you listen to Peachy very closely, sounds more Gen Z than boomer.
Really?
I'm a
Okay, now you're just
millennial
fucking with me.
masquerading as a Gen Z because inside I'm 16, like always.
Wait, that's Gen Alpha then, right? No, that would still be Gen Z. My daughter's Gen Alpha. I'm pretty sure. That's
Dang.
crazy. I was like, who started on X? Like, by the way, where's this conversation going? I have no idea. Who started on X? And now we're like cycling back to A.
Old is new, new is old. You know.
Yeah,
I
what
saw-
comes after Gen Alpha?
Gen
Beta.
Beta, I would
They
imagine.
just announced it, Gen Beta. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would make sense, huh?
Leave it to America to start at the end and then try to work its way back to where everybody's going. Like, this is the whole metric system all over again.
Wait, but how come? Why didn't like boomers have a letter?
They were too old to figure. They predated it.
Predated letters? Damn.
You know what's funny? I'm
That's old.
sure. Well, I'm sure the boomers are the ones that created the Gen X thing as a derogatory term. I am
Yeah.
pretty damn sure.
Yeah.
And it's
Gen
the
X, they have
kids.
no place in this world. These hooligans. Yeah, that sounds like something I'd say.
No, I do love. I think my favorite thing
Oh,
though
no.
is that sometimes there's these like super old translations that you find out are like, some ancient text, right? And when they translate it, people are like complaining about kids and complaining about taxes. And it's like 3,000 years old. And it's like it's the same shit, just like
Yeah.
multiplied. Like everybody always complains about the younger generation. Everybody hates taxes. And occasionally they find something, they unearth it, and it's like a grocery list. And it's like, really? Like you wrote that down in like your ancient Sumerian. So, we've been keeping lists and doing all this stuff for a really long time. Like it's a very human thing to do.
I'm imagining someone going to the market back in the Sumerian country with a huge tablet. It's like, hang on, what did we need? Bring the tablet. Ah, goat's milk. All right, buy a goat.
How do you do the way you're talking about this and like acting it out makes me like weirdly concerned that you have lived it or that you have some intimate connection to that we don't.
No, I'm just bitter that I messed up my back by lifting something heavy over the holiday break, and I'm acting it out in a different way. I literally am. This is probably only the second day I can stand up straight. So let's be real here.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't mean to laugh at your
Oh, that's fine.
misfortune.
I laugh at myself all the time. It's fine.
I have also woken up and had back pain for no reason. So I'm there with you. I'm not doing that much better.
Boomer. Hey, by the
I
way,
know.
if you're getting hurt, none of us stand a chance because you are probably the most fit in this group. Okay, let's not start that.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to challenge myself to that. There's some pretty
You
fit looking
share
people
your
in this chat.
receipts of like what you walk, and it's like, oh, today was a light day, 40 miles. I'm like, what the hell? Or 40,000 steps or something, like some crazy numbers.
I can do endurance and I can do cardio, but if you guys challenge me to any like strength activity, like any weightlifting or anything, like I'm last place for sure. I got none of that.
I'll still put myself in the end, to be fair.
You can
Pretty
definitely
weak.
lift more than I can, Humpty. I promise
All
you
right.
that.
How about this? My 2025 goal, as I'm sure most of America or the world is, I'm gonna get in shape this year.
It's not
I'm
my
gonna
goal.
subscribe to a
Not my
gym, and
goal.
I'm straight. Really? Oh,
Nah, I'm trying to eat my way through LA.
hey, we're doing that burrito challenge though. Breakfast burrito challenge
Oh
Let's
yeah,
do it.
in March.
I'll be back in March. Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
doing that.
Oh,
Peachy,
nice.
by the way, if you can make your way to LA, if you're not here already, we're doing a breakfast burrito challenge because Diana, do you want to say why we're doing this?
Wait, why are we doing it? I don't
You
even
don't
remember
remember?
why.
Someone said the best breakfast burrito you could have is somewhere in Venice, and I was like, what is wrong with these
Wait,
people?
okay, so I went to so I was just in LA over the holidays and I went to Great White in Venice, basic as fuck.
The name says it
And
all.
it really does.
Could have been
No,
Great
like,
Brown, but whatever.
literally. And they're like known for their breakfast burritos, like lines out the door for brunch because of these breakfast burritos.
God.
Okay.
Raven's eyes.
And so I went with like some friends and like my husband ordered the breakfast burrito. I got something else because I know things. But I tried a bite of his breakfast burrito and I was like, what the fuck is this? It tasted
Probably
like
all
mushy.
potato.
It was just like mushy baby food. It tasted
I
like
knew
baby food. It tasted like it was all potato and so much avocado, which I actually don't really like avocado. That's probably a me problem. But all of it was like so mushed together that I was like,
Avocado is a tricky texture to add in a breakfast burrito because you have the eggs already that are, depending on how they're
yeah,
scrambled, but like that's what
Mhm.
if you have avocado, you have to have a crispy potato.
none of it was
I was gonna
crispy. There was
say,
no crisp.
because
Like
if the
no
potato's
crisp.
soft, everything's soft in there. That's gross.
Everything was soft. I feel like the eggs were kind of runny. Like the
Oh,
potatoes were
Oh,
like kind of ground
that
down
sounds
and
like a
soft. There
Venice
was
Beach thing.
no crunch, like no texture. It tasted like baby food.
Okay, but question, did it photograph well?
Oh, probably
I'm
looks
sure
stunning.
it did. Yes. Yeah, most importantly because that's what we care about in Venice.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of food
Gen
like
Z thing
looks
to say.
good, but it doesn't taste good. And so many times, like things photograph well and they look great on Instagram. I'll see this. Okay, so my dad decided he wanted to make biscuits, and he was like looking at things on YouTube, and I was like, stop. Recipes come from books, magazines, or like curated sources, not YouTube, because
Boomer.
people can edit things and
Yeah.
like trick things and the lighting. I was like, they're changing the dough midway, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I can see it. Do not follow this person. Like, they're just doing what looks good on camera. And
Right.
I think they added glue to their dough. Like, this is just camera ready stuff.
Ew, what the?
Yeah, like
Jesus.
I don't even know what they were doing. And I was like, so this is a thing where sometimes something looks great on film and it is not going to taste good. Like, but
Yeah.
there's two different audiences, right? Like if you're doing things for cinematic, it doesn't matter what it tastes like. It matters 100% what it looks like. But if you're
Yeah.
doing things for taste, it might not be Instagram worthy. So that
Yeah.
just feels very Venice to me.
Yes, it was very Venice. But if any of you ever find yourselves there for whatever reason, we all have, it's good to have diverse friend groups. So if you ever find yourselves there, order the breakfast sandwich, not the breakfast burrito. The breakfast sandwich is actually good. There's this like spicy aioli that they put in there that's really
Mm.
good. Like that was actually like so much better than the breakfast burrito, in my opinion.
There we go. Don't go to Venice for breakfast burritos, all right? Like we
Yeah.
literally, probably even Culver City has better breakfast burritos. Don't cross the 405 for breakfast burritos. Stay away. Maybe some, Baja shrimp would be really great over there. But don't do the burritos. So we're
Yeah.
good. That's why we're doing the challenge, Peachy.
Yeah.
Because people were like, for some reason, hollering about the best breakfast burritos in Venice on Farcaster and making that recommendation to Diana while she was out here, and I was like, I feel like we missed out by
Yeah.
not showing you the best breakfast burritos in town. So
Next
the
time,
challenge
next
is we're
time.
gonna try to find like 5 places,
Yeah.
and then we're
I
gonna do
think the
that
New
tour.
Yorkers are doing a dim sum crawl.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
I'm so in for that. I'm so in
Yes.
for that.
Yeah, where do I sign up? Is that already
Yeah.
out? The RSVP? Because I want to sign up.
Yeah, I think I saw a frame. I feel like this should be a thing. Like every city should take on a food challenge and have a bunch of Farcasters meet up to be like, the best 5 X, Y, or Z, and then have everybody's opinions. I think this could be cool.
Okay.
See,
what would you guys do in SF, Kamaho?
Instead of like doing the regular Friday thing where everybody meets up, have it like be a theme. You know,
let's
Yeah.
go.
we're already
Isn't
meeting
that
on Fridays.
didn't someone already make that? It wasn't that dinner Dow?
We don't like
Uh
DAOs.
oh. Previous generation of crypto talking about DAOs. Here we go.
Whoa.
Here we
Oh, wait,
go.
why don't
DAOs
we
are
like
We
dead.
just want to meet up. We
Wait.
just want to meet
Oh.
up and hang out. We don't
Oh,
Yeah.
want to.
Now
are
we
we
got to
about
have
to have
governance.
Yeah, we gotta have governance. Exactly.
Oh, are we about to start an in and out list? Like, are DAOs out? And you know.
We had this conversation while you were out, Peachy. We were
Wait, why
pretty
are
spicy.
DAOs? I missed it too.
No, you
Why
were
do we
here.
hate?
We
I was
we
here?
were we were making some jokes, and then you're like, "Wait, I can't make too many jokes about DAOs because that's what you do."
Yeah,
No,
yeah, that is one of my in groups
yeah,
that I'm part of.
no, we didn't say they were dead. I think what we agreed on is that the way that they function, the kind of like really clunky, slow nature of DAOs, that's dead. I think that in order for them to become part of the narrative again, they need to adopt some of these things that have made crypto fun again, if you will. And part of that is the memetics. Some of that is like the really organic way of becoming community. Like Hire is a good example of that. I would say, that if they wanted to, token holders could be a DAO, but they're not calling themselves that. They're just kind of creating these like culturally aligned projects like Higher Athletics and Higher FM around the mother DAO, which is Higher, and shared incentives using the Higher token. It is a DAO, but they're not talking about themselves as a DAO, right? And so I think that we need to rethink the way that we engage people and we make governance fun. And it doesn't have to be super clunky, like how many people are on the multi-sig? We need to sign this through. It's super slow and it's not fun.
Speaking of making governance fun, we are starting a new round of guest elections for Rehash today, and we're doing two contests this week. So there's an All Stars one that's already been preloaded with 35 of our top past guests, and that voting is open to the public, so anyone can go and vote on that one. And then another one is like our regular election,
Oh,
which
cool.
like talks about
Wait,
how
so
that
now it's
works.
open. You don't have to be
The All Stars one is open, yeah. So we're basically doing two contests. We're taking top 5 from each one to make our season of 10, and the All Stars one is open to the public. First time we're experimenting with this.
well, and can I say when I talk about like, and I think we agreed on this, so it's not just me saying this, okay? Full disclosure, we all talked about this, but apparently Diana has selective memory and chooses not to remember this conversation. It's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, you make DAO governance fun. You're doing contests, right? Like that's very different. Like I want to play a game. I don't want to go in there and like vote on like what's the best thing that we should do next in order to like blink tomorrow. I don't know. It's like it's sometimes it's a little silly. But like running contests like this, you Rehash is a DAO and you're running contests in order to get people on your show. Super fun. Yeah.
I'm
That's not the
glad
boomer way of doing it.
that was always the goal, was to make governance fun.
Yeah.
Make governance fun again.
But
That's what we're doing here.
to be fair, was it for most DAOs ever fun? Like I'm a
No.
noun. I'm a nouner, and I'll tell you, sometimes I'm like, oh my god, like we're just every freaking week I got to go through all these proposals of like, am I really gonna fund this thing? I've shared ideas of like how to like remove some of the smaller spend off of nouns and just focus on like really big ideas, but I don't know. It's not fun sometimes.
Well,
so.
it's like I've seen Seneca talk about this online, like about, and this is very noun specific, so I'm sorry for everybody, but it's like right now, like in nouns, we have 3 tokens, and none of them are like the token. So we have like nouns, noggles, and nogs. And so what it's making is like, for me, it caused confusion, and with like the whole like meme thing that's going on right now with like pudgy penguins and like Doodles is thinking about making a token, it's like literally nouns could easily have a token right now, capture some of that value, capture some of that attention, bring new people in, and instead, we have 3 different tokens, and one got approved through the proposal process. One just because it's decentralized, someone was like, screw it, I'm just going to build it now. the other one already has utility, so it's just like all over the place. And really, it should
Which
just
one are
be
you talking
one
about?
concerted effort, you know.
You talk about the nouns token, the nogs token, and what else?
Uh, uh, Nouns, nogs, and then the noggle one, the one that actually is a fractionalized voting. So it's just like the little noggle.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah,
I know
exactly.
the dollar sign nouns token exists, and that's the one you can swap your
Hmm.
nouns for.
Yep.
There's
And then
a
there's
token then
nogs.
that represents a vote and not your noun. Wouldn't that
Yeah.
be the nouns token?
No, but it's a fractionalized one. So you can basically have like, if you only own like, let's say 10, it's like 1/10 of a vote went in for this proposal. That's why it's a little bit more complex and why it's not out the door yet. Um,
That's silly.
yeah.
I feel like if the nouns, and I know we got really specific here, but if the nouns community has a token called dollar sign nouns, and that's what you get for turning in your, like, basically swapping your nouns NFT, then that in itself is the voting token because it's 1 to 1
Yeah.
or whatever, 2 million to 1.
Yeah, but I
Uh
think the way it was deployed, it wasn't deployed. You can't vote or participate unless you have a full 1 million.
yeah,
Yeah.
which whatever. Anyways, all right. See, this is the thing. That's not fun. Who the heck
Yeah.
wants to be
That's what I'm saying.
involved
Just going
doing
back to the
governance
premise.
and like which token am I holding? You gave me this token after I swap my noun. I want to use it for, voting, even though it's probably a fraction of a vote. Great. But no, no, let's create another token. Speaking of tokens though, I can share this now. The team said I can share this. Open Rank is launching channel tokens this week. I talked about this briefly before the break, but everybody's here, so I'd love to hear your thoughts. Peachy, you as well, because you've been deep in the Moxie meta and DGen as well. And so when I shared this initially, there was a concern, not a concern, but I think it was Gramajo that brought it up and saying, so this is a Moxie competitor. I'd love to hear your thoughts after you hear basically what it is. So some of you might know OpenRank calculates a score for everyone on Farcaster based on, it starts like with your FID, obviously. It's the engagement with other accounts from other accounts. If Dan's engaging with your content, it's going to significantly move the needle forward much more than if, like, I don't know, someone that just joined Farcaster did. Um, and this is, I mean, there's a lot of math involved, so I'm definitely not doing the best job of explaining how it works. But it basically is considered by many, and myself included, one of the best ways of calculating the reputation score of individuals on Farcaster. And it's used by a lot of apps in order to do everything from token drops to, allow listing people to use a new product on Farcaster because it's significantly a better product. With Kira, which was their moderator bot for helping to moderate your channels on Farcaster, they are now kind of bringing the two together to create what is, I believe it's called, well, that was Kira Mod. They're creating Kira Bot, and they're allowing you to launch tokens for your channels with this new product. And the launch partner is going to be Crypto Sapiens. So we're going to go live on Thursday. So I've shared it here now. That's at least what's on schedule. On Thursday, we're going to have a token for our channel, and it basically is going to be distributed to everyone who's engaged in the channel the last 60 days. And this, if you, let me see if I can share it on my screen. If I go to Kira.openrank.com, so if you have Kira installed as a moderator on your, what is not your channel, but on your, on your channel, that's correct. You can look at this now. You'll see your top users if it's been added to the list as a channel that will that has channel points. I believe this is still kind of like being deployed slowly. You can see the rank of users based on those channel points. I will try to share my screen here, but I have not been successful in the past. Yeah, let me put this on another screen. Great. I'm going to share that screen. Okay. This is my screen. This is Crypto Sapiens. Here are the top users. Obviously, the top two accounts are going to be myself and the Crypto Sapiens account that have been casting there regularly. But the total channel points overall lifetime ranked from one through, I don't know, I'm sure all of them. I think we have about 2,000 followers are listed here. Peachy, you're number five. Even though you've been gone, you've been casting there regularly for some time. So you're number five. Um, by daily earning, meaning people who are casting, the last day, would be listed here. Peachy is beating me on that game. The way that it's going to work is that the initial distribution, which is 5% of 50%, all right, so 2.5% of the initial allocation is going to go out to the 2,000 followers of Crypto Sapiens in this ranking, in this order, okay? And then diminishing returns as you go lower and lower. Every day, you accumulate more points based on your daily earning. So you're casting into the Crypto Sapiens channel. People that are reputable are engaging with your content. This was originally, by the way, heavily ranked by moderators and channel owners. So my like was going to go crazy on the amount that you got allocated every day. But I've worked, and many other people have worked with Open Rank to improve this model. My like now is still important, but not as significant. If, say, Peachy, who has a very high score overall on Open Rank because of her Farcaster engagement, if she likes your cast, her like is also going to be very important in what you're casting in the Crypto Sapiens channel. This allocation per day is going to basically be added up over the course of a week. And at the end of the week, there's going to be a claim period where you can claim all the tokens from that channel. And so this is going to be going on, at least for Crypto Sapiens, the way that we've structured this is for 3 years. There's a 3-year vesting period of these tokens that every week for 3 years, there's going to be a claim period for you to unlock tokens from this contract. These tokens are locked into a contract. 50% of these tokens are locked into a contract at launch. 50% of them are put into a liquidity pool. So it sounds like Clanker, but it isn't Clanker. If there's a competitor for Kira, it would be Clanker. It would not be Moxie. I'll leave it there. I want to hear your thoughts so far on what you think about this new feature product from Kira, but also your thoughts about like potential competition, which competition is always good. How do you see this playing out potentially for your channel? Because I think that your channels would all benefit from this too.
So can I ask a money question first? Like, where does the liquidity come from? Because for Clanker, they put in the initial liquidity to get it
Yep.
going, and for Moxie, it comes from the underlying Moxie token. So where does this one come from?
They will put the initial liquidity along with 50% of your tokens in the contract.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I think this is exciting because I launched a Clanker like just for fun and realized you really have to constantly like hype it to keep it going and like do
Yeah.
something with it. They can't just live. And then a bunch of people responded to my Clanker saying, "Oh, that's a really cool idea to do X." And it made new Clankers with all the same names. So now there's like 50 of them with the same name. So it's really hard to like figure out what's the original and all that stuff. So it was a fun like blip on the radar, but it didn't seem like tied enough to the channel. I think this kind of solves like both sides of that equation, right? Where like it's meant for the channel, it's participating in the channel, because I still think channels are on the struggle bus. After the Warpcast team made so many changes, it seems like with public channels that kind of all got undone. So it's like channels that have any sort of membership are really just channels with extra steps now. So I think getting people to cast in your channel now that there's no like boost, right? Versus casting in your home feed, like people have to really want to do it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think for channels to survive, especially now that Moxie has gone outside of Farcaster, right? They've even left behind the whole economic engine of Farcaster, like it's becoming bigger. I do think there's room here for
Hmm.
something that's very channel specific to kind of help people feel like they're part of that community. And clearly tokens are winning right now, right? Like
Yeah,
I don't know about y'all, but my timeline is full of like elephants doing things to themselves and dick butt and stuff like that are doing like really well, and it's hard to kind of like talk about that to regular people like, oh, come to
Wait, Peachy,
Farcaster.
didn't you just go through a purge of like unfollowing everyone
yeah.
and refollowing? How is this still your algo? I feel like
Yeah,
this is user error at this point.
it's a little crazy like how excited people are about some of the meme coins, right? But I get it, like it's fun, and it's fun. So the fun is like coming back into the timeline, but all the
Sure.
kind of fun cast I'm seeing are very much meme coin related, and I think that's just the meta right now. Like the coins are doing well, they're running, so everybody's talking about it, but it's hard to like keep that going indefinitely, right? So it's like if you can change the meta to be coins about communities, I think that's something that has like 3 year potential versus, meme of the moment, which might be 3 days, 10 days, 30 days. Like, I don't know. Are we going to be talking about dick butt in 10 years the way we talk about Dogecoin? Like, maybe. But I feel like channel coins maybe have the potential to outlast kind of the meme meta. I think that's what I'm going for. Like memes are fun, but
Hmm.
can you build community around meme forever just around a coin? But maybe if it's the community first and the coin is secondary and then they're tied together hand in hand, that's a very different story than just like let's create a channel to talk about dick butt. How much can you talk about dick butt? Eventually you just run out of things to talk about.
Yeah,
What? That's what I meant about the memetics. Sorry, Dan, if you were going to say something. I was just going to say
no.
that's what I meant about the memetics. You could build a community on memetics, but if it's literally just hype, it's not sustainable. That's the thing. Like if you need it to constantly be stoking the fire to drive attention, and it's purely just attention, it's not sustainable. I agree that like Farcaster channels needs more. Like I think that they themselves are a very powerful tool, but they're not necessarily being promoted or maybe supported the way that they need to be. I was always a big fan of Moxie. I haven't played the game in a while. Like probably the best person I've seen playing the game is still Peachy. And I've been a channel advocate and Maxi for a long time, but I still think that the way that Warpcast treats channels and the Merkle team kind of continues, or if they're continuing to develop channels, isn't necessarily progressing the meta any further. I do think that this is a great convergence of a lot of things that we've enjoyed seeing, like Farcaster channels coming together with Clanker, coming together with Moxie. There's like a convergence of ideas, and there's an alignment of values, I guess, for anybody who enjoyed playing with these things, but in a much more sustainable way. Oh, I see, Jonathan, you're on YouTube and you're commenting about channel tokens, saying they're considering them for nature. I think Jonathan Colton, by the way, who's chatting with us in on YouTube, who who was also a contributor to Open Ranks product here. Like they were one of the people that were advising. They're saying they're going to be doing something for nature. I also think that nature and Cryptosapiens are very different channels in the way that people cast into it. So it's going to be interesting to see how, from this meta of channel tokens, how it will be different for different communities as well. Because like Rehash and Cryptosapiens probably fall under one bucket. Raven probably falls into a different bucket with 50 millimeter collective. Peachy with anime manga, very different. But yeah, I think it's much more accelerated in the way that people can cast into it. Nature, I think, by nature, it's much more open in what people can be casting into it. So, how are we going to be engaging communities in our channels? Um, I have some ideas. I also think that there's a really interesting game to play here with collaborations with other communities that have tokens, and that's one thing that I'm going to be focusing on with Cryptosapiens and our token. By the way, if you have ideas on what we should call the token, because I still haven't set on a name, I shared a few in our alpha group, but just drop them in the chat. Jonathan, I'd love to hear what you think Crypto Sapien should call his token. Anyways, any other thoughts in terms of channel tokens? Diana, would you use them? I know you've probably been the most hesitant to do anything with tokens.
Yeah, very hesitant. Still haven't launched the Clanker, which I know last time I was on, we talked about LTFO. It's still in my head. I do remember that conversation. Um, but I would use it. I think it's a good idea. I also just realized that my subscription to Crypto Sapiens lapsed, and so I just renewed, so I can hopefully get in on some of this fun. Um, I would play around with it and test it out. I mean, I'm open to experimenting with anything. I also just like finally discovered where the frames tab is on my Warpcast app, so I feel like I'm just, a few months to a few years behind on all the Farcaster alpha, so I'm just trying to play catch up and trying to get there. But I think it's a cool idea, and I would definitely be open to like playing around with it and testing it out.
Yeah, so Humpty, I can give you some like random data points with anime manga. So it's a hypersub gated channel. And this was like before Moxie and all that stuff existed. It was always meant to be kind of an experiment to see if I could use the whole Farcaster stack. So this came from Johnny Nonlinear did an experiment with memes to be like, hey, you could get paid to post memes, and it got funded via rounds. But rounds wasn't quite there. Now rounds is totally there, where you can set up a round in like 30 seconds, where channel members are the moderators of the round, and they can vote and things like that. So basically, if you subscribe to the anime manga channel, that money goes into rounds every week, and then good content is like literally rewarded by other people in the community. So
Mm-hmm.
that's been working out like pretty good, and we have enough money now to fund that for the entire year. But when Moxie came into the picture, I wasn't really sure how to layer that on. So I've just been doing daily raffles. So anybody who holds the fan token, because I didn't want to abandon the hypersub, like
Mm-hmm.
it's cool, it's fun, it's working, it's unique. I want to keep trying it. So I just added Moxie as a layer. But when I look at who owns the channel fan token versus who engages in the channel daily, there's not a ton of overlap. It's only maybe 10% because I see how many people enter the raffle and are eligible. And I know that some of that is because people locked up their fan tokens and have to wait, 90 days to unlock them. So we're still kind of in that phase where people are figuring out, do they want to lock tokens? Now that Moxie changed again, people are realizing you've got to buy and sell to make money. So it's changing the game. But still, it's maybe 10% of the people who are eligible are actually participating. So a lot of people bought the channel fan token either just to be awesome and supportive, which I sincerely appreciate, or kind of as a speculative investment, but they didn't really buy it to participate in the channel. So it feels like there's all these little pieces, but there's nothing cohesive yet that's really
Mm-hmm.
like taking over. Because if I'm only seeing 10% of people who are part of the channel own the channel fan token, I don't think that's not like 50% by any means, right? Like it's a small percentage of people who subscribe to the hypersub also have the channel token. So it's kind of resonating with folks, but I think people are still trying to figure out how exactly Moxie works, how it works for channels, how it works with all the channel changes. So it seems like this might really fit that nice gap in between
Mm-hmm.
where people can, kind of it's almost sweat equity, right? Like you can get coins for your participation. You don't have to pre-buy in. And I think that is something that people really appreciate because there are people here with money. They're willing to throw
Mm-hmm.
money at things. That's how they're willing to buy into the ecosystem. But there's a lot of folks that maybe don't have that cash or don't have extra cash sitting around, but they're willing to put in the sweat and put in the dedication. And I like the idea of somehow rewarding people for their effort because this feels like a lot more retroactive. Like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you participated for several months. Here's here's a thank you, right? And even if it's
Yep.
small and even if it grows, like people appreciate that, kind of being seen.
Yep.
So I'm kind of excited about this to think that that could change that dynamic and help out the people that maybe don't have cash to participate, but still want to be part of it and like give them an entry point.
Love it. Everything well said there. I'll highlight the retro part. I've been a longtime fan of like retro PGF coming from that world, with Gitcoin and optimism. I think that that's a wonderful tool for recognizing people, having them be seen, as Peachy perfectly said. And this is algorithmic. Like one of the things that I didn't quite enjoy too much about like optimism specifically, and actually even Gitcoin, there's like a human element, which it could be error there when it comes to calculating how much someone should be getting retroactively. When it comes to this is algorithmic. Like I'm not going in there saying, oh, this person should be given more, or this is the weight that I want. This is a base weight that's being applied to everyone across Farcaster using OpenRank based on your activity and engagement on Farcaster and other reputable actors on Farcaster and their engagement to your casts and to your activity in that channel. So I think that that's really cool. And again, I don't think it's necessarily about what are people casting in a channel? Anybody can cast anything into the channel, really, as long as they're a member. But this really goes to how clear are you about what people should be casting in your channel? Um, so Crypto Sapiens being very clear about what that is, and then its community supporting that through its likes and recasts and comments on Farcaster. So yeah, I think that this is very much what's the word I'm looking for? This fits nicely together. Everything feels like it's a word that I can't think of right now.
Well, it's like these little puzzle pieces, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody is building these small things, like the events frame, right? Like on its own, it's like, okay, this is cool. But when you see the power of like reminders on Farcaster and the fact that you can use the same frame over and over and you can keep updating it, and then you can pull in, Tavern or Farhouse, like when you can start connecting all these puzzle pieces to work together seamlessly, I think that's really the power of it. And I feel like this is yet another layer that's connecting those puzzle pieces to be like, why scroll channels, right? Like that's the whole
Hmm.
thing, is how do you get people to come to a channel and scroll through it? It has to have good content, not crap. And some of it has to be community moderated, because if it's one or two people trying to moderate this stuff, it just doesn't work out. So if we can start to layer in, open rank, which is like very powerful, and say, hey, there are some people in the channel that even if they're not quote moderators, their opinion is valuable and they cast, good stuff and they engage well, and that stuff starts to rise to the top. Like I think that's what's needed for channels, because right now reverse chronological order is not working for me at all. As a person who like wants to scroll channels, I need stuff surfaced, and I don't necessarily want the Farcaster algorithm picking, but I do want the community picking. And it feels like this is yet another puzzle piece
Hmm.
that's going to say, how do we surface good community content
Mm.
and make
Yeah.
Farcaster better? And I feel like this is yet another, attempt at that. Like, here's another layer. And soon we're going to have just even more things into the creator stack, but it'll be more and more seamless to us when it's running automatically in the background. And hopefully that makes our channels better and helps kick it up and helps more people see it outside of the channel, and then they'll join your channel. Like, it's contributing to that flywheel. So it feels
Yeah.
like another little piece adding to the flywheel, which is just going to make it cooler and better and more interesting.
Yeah. Well said again. So, anyways, I look forward to seeing y'all play with this if this is something that you're interested in. I think at this point, channel points might be open to everyone. So, if you haven't already, I think most of us here have, add the Cura moderator. My opinion, I only use two. I was using Hyperbot for subscribers and Cura for everything else. I'm now not even using Hyperbot because with Cura you can also gate by subscription. So I've streamlined this, made it super easy. Cura is my only moderator, and I have rules set outside of the Hypersub subscription for how people can join and become a member of Crypto Sapiens. You could also, manually add people. There's a function here in Cura where you can, send invitations to people based on a kind of a profile that's met for those individuals. They can also request to be added through Cura. So, there's a lot of different ways people can become members. So I'd love to see how you all play with this if this is something that's interesting to you. Like I said, the channel points is open. I don't think that the token piece is open to everyone, but if you're interested, OpenRank is looking for launch partners. I think at this point they might have about maybe a dozen, if not a little over a dozen. launch partners, and their strategy is to help each channel owner grow their basically the attention that's given to this initial launch for your token, and then kind of progressively also continue to help with how the community can engage and improve their engagement in that channel. So we've been working on this since like I want to say like October, late October, early November. So it's been a long time coming. We were going to launch the token early, like right before the holiday, and we decided against it for obvious reasons. It's just I was not going to be available to like engage and curate some conversations there. So now that we're back, Thursday is the day. So if you haven't casted into the Crypto Sapiens channel, go and cast in the channel. Kind of up your channel points and get started with this. Anything else? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more we want to cover. There was a few things we talked about on our own private channel that we wanted to talk about today. I'm not remembering what they were though.
Oh, I wanted to ask Gramajo how your area drop went using Stack because I claimed it. That was super cool. It was super smooth. Um, how was it from kind of the owner perspective and managing it? And would you recommend other channels look into this and lean in?
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because I actually had a couple people reach out um because I don't know what happened, but like and maybe Humpty knows this a little bit better, but Daylight, the tool that like notifies
Mhm.
you when people you follow are like minting something or doing a claim. So I had a couple people
Yeah.
like within an hour claim their area, and a bunch of people got an email via Daylight saying like, "Hey, you have like a claim."
I
And so
got
I,
the email. That's
oh,
how
you
I
got
found out about it.
that's funny. Yeah, so like out of nowhere,
Wow.
like people got notified, which I was not expecting, which was nice. And I think it prompted a lot of people to go get it. It seemed positive. I know me and Humpty had a discussion going back and forth between like doing it within the frame, um, or doing it within the website, and it seemed like they weren't connected before, but now it does seem like they are connected. Like if you do a frame, it is connected to the website as well. Because I did frame, but I think a lot of people were able to get it via the website afterwards, not even
Hmm.
using the frame. So yeah, it seemed good, positive. The daylight email definitely helped a lot.
Daylight is powerful. Interface is powerful. These are discovery tools that we need to be better at leveraging. Um, I'm going to be doing a short write up on this. I've said that since last year, but this year, as the focus is our creators and helping them improve distribution, monetization, discovery. Um, I'm going to be doing a few write ups and more on that soon. But basically, part of the strategy that I use to be able to actually monetize my podcast NFTs started on pods, but it didn't stop there. There's other mechanisms you can use like layer three. I've talked about this before, so there's no secret. Boost, now Blueprint is doing something similar, and then leveraging things like Daylight and Mint.fun and interface to kind of like drive attention, and finishing with Coinbase Wallet. So there is a recipe for success there, and I think we should all be kind of leveraging all these tools to maximize our earning potential as well, or discovery of things like the area token when it gets launched.
Yeah, PG, just to give you some data points, 51 people have claimed, which is a lot more than I was expecting.
That's awesome.
That's like pretty active for me. Like, and like the based on the size of my channel, like my channel's like 175 people, so like yeah, a third.
Yeah, that claim is huge, by the way, because that is a interaction point that is extremely valuable. When someone, because it's a friction point, right? Like you can
Mm-hmm.
airdrop these things to someone wallet, but at the end of the day, does it matter? Not really, because either they never knew that it was in their wallet, or they're just probably going to see something come in and just go sell it. But that interaction point, I think, is important, and that's something that with the Open Rank team, that was one of my recommendations to them, because I think initially their plan was to like every day you would get an airdrop. It would be streamed to you basically. And I was like, well, for me at least, I don't think that the daily drop makes sense, especially with the way that we cast in that channel. So And I also think that there's more familiar mechanisms for earning on Farcaster, and that's a weekly claim. Degen was doing that for a while. I think Moxie was doing that for a while. Like the weekly claim just feels more familiar. Even Farcaster has like a weekly drop, like every Friday they ship something, right? So this weekly cadence on Farcaster is like it's part of the culture. And then I was like, I don't really think that we should be airdropping it, at least not for Crypto Sapiens. I want people to go to the channel and claim their tokens. And it's probably just going to be like pinned in the channel where you can claim this token every week. And yeah, I just think that that just makes more sense for us. But I think that based on that conversation, they've changed the cadence of distribution and they've changed the function of claiming instead of airdropping. So yeah, that's cool, man. Glad that worked out for you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the vesting part too, because I think vesting is important. And I think,
Hmm.
I mean, honestly, like Moxie has done a dramatic change this week where there's no more like daily claims. Everything goes into your fan token now. And that's a really big change. But I think that was something that was, an interesting mechanism, but I'm using interesting with a capital I there because it created a lot of sell pressure. When people could claim free money every day, there was a very big alignment to just like exit out of it and go buy new things and play around. And I think that's why the meme coins are taking off. Like a lot of people were
Hmm.
flushed with cash from these daily Moxie claims. And I wonder, like, what would Moxie be like today if those daily claims had vested just like everything else, where it was like, yeah, you get it, but you can't convert it out of the system for 90 days. If that would have encouraged people to like keep putting it back in, or if they would have just held and done, a stream. So I've seen a lot of projects where instead of handing out a grant directly,
Hmm.
they've handed out a stream where you can get little small portions. And I feel like in a world where we move at 1,000 miles an hour in crypto, sometimes having a vesting period is a good like stop and reflect moment. And it really makes you think like, hey, what am I doing with this? Am I jumping into something too quickly? How much money do I really have to throw at this? So I feel like vesting is a key component to keeping this
Hmm.
Humpty, I think you said it earlier really well, like keeping it sustainable
Hmm.
because there's always hot and fast and new, but it's like what's going to be here in 3 years. And I think that was my initial misunderstanding with Clanker. It was like, hey, if you don't stoke this fire constantly, it's not going to work. And that's not what I want to do. I want to
Right.
build a sustainable channel that works even when I'm not there because the community is actively participating and I want to be very hands off. I don't want to have to post every day, hey, buy this token. But if the
Right.
token is vested into the channel and it takes time, like that encourages people to stick around instead of just posting for, a ton a week to get the airdrop and then leave. Like that's not what I want. I want
Yep.
people who are going to stay. And I feel like anything that encourages hanging around, staying, and coming back later or coming back every week or every month really works. Like, look at how well I think Ham is doing because of Deployer has really built this into people. Like, come every week, stake your tokens, and every week there will be payoff on Sunday night. And people look really forward to that. And they come and check in, and there's a bunch
Hmm.
of chatter at the end of the weekend when Farcaster is normally pretty slow. And it's people talking about, oh, I can't wait to claim my ham. I'm so excited, and it really makes a difference. And it's like built into people's routines that claim your ham on Sunday, claim your degen at the end of the month. Like
Exactly.
that mentality gets people coming back, gets them excited, and you can see in kind of the channel cast patterns, like when the claim is coming up, because that
Hmm.
hype builds up, people all do it, and then it kind of dies down again. But then the cycle repeats in just a few days or a few weeks, and I think that's what you need is that reason for people to come back and engage. And even if it's a bit of a carrot, it's important, right? So it's like vesting is one half of the equation, keeping people coming back is the other half. And if we can really marry those together, I think that's going to be what helps this win.
Yeah. So part of the research that went into doing this, and this is not me saying this, by the way, Zahil said that I was basically a part of their team. They're like, at this point, you're just in the open rank team. Cause like I was heavily involved from the very beginning on a lot of the research and like the initial product testing. And that's why we're one of the launch partners. Um, I looked at Ham and I said to them, "Is like, we need to look at what Ham is doing and we need to look at like how Deploy has like created a very sustainable model something that people are really not just interested in, but like are excited about. And don't be surprised if in the future, after this initial rollout, there is a staking feature that gets introduced so that those tokens that are getting dispersed are then able to be locked for additional benefits. So a lot of this came into the kind of like research side of things. It's just that the team needed to have some first product to put out there and then build upon if there was interest from the community, right? You don't want to overdevelop something either, and the community doesn't care. So this initial rollout is obviously based on like what I've described and what we've talked about now for a few minutes. That's how it's going to function. But long term, the game is sustainability, and at least for Crypto Sapiens, it's vested for 3 years. I'm not sure if this is how it's going to work for everyone, but I know the team wanted a baseline. So my guess is that it's going to be the baseline is 3 year vesting. How that's going to and so the goal is like how can we continue to create excitement and create a culture around this 3 year vesting period distribution that's happening weekly based on a daily earning. Staking for me is like really, it's one of the old school DeFi kind of features, and definitely been deployed quite effectively by people like Deployer with Ham. And so I don't be surprised if you see that down the road for Cura channel tokens.
That's kind of why I like what I've been exploring is rebase, like people that provide liquidity and basically lock up the token, then they get incentivized with area.
I was actually going to bring up Rebase because I'm such a fangirl. Because a lot of times you don't have to put in both sides of the LP, like traditional things. Like you don't necessarily have to put up ETH. Sometimes you can just stake your token and still participate in the rewards. And I think that's fantastic because a lot of folks are not ETH rich, or they're using their ETH on other things, but they have these other Farcaster tokens just sitting in their wallets. And if they could use those kind of as collateral to support other Farcaster tokens, people are really into that. And I think a lot of folks are sleeping on Rebase. And part of me wants to like keep it to myself because
Yeah.
I'm doing very well on it because not so many people use it. But I also kind of want to scream from the rooftops like, this is so cool. And I feel like it's a great place for new tokens to kind of hang out. So I was actually going to ask you if you had thought about that because I'm like, oh, I'll stake mine. Like, let's go.
Yeah, no, actually, like I was gonna send out a message to some of the top holders, because like right now, like the two things that I have like top of mind are, or I guess three, and they're all like we've kind of talked about it. Is like one, expanding the pool of amount of people that have it. So like I think I have a very small pool of maybe like 300, maybe 500 people own the token. So I'm trying to expand that into like thousands. Whether even if it's like a little small amount, like it doesn't have to be like everyone has a million. It's more like just anything. The second one is the rebase, so like LP, and then the other thing that I've told Humpty and Raven is like, and it kind of goes with the first one, like moving it to Solana as well, because I'm gonna probably spend a decent chunk of time this year exploring the Solana and Barachain world, just to like, I mean, there's founders over there, there's people working on like interesting stuff, and just interviewing them. Just get us outside of like at least like my group of people, get us looking past just base and ETH. Um, so the Solana one is more like to capture, spread the net like really wide. But yeah, like the LP staking was kind of like, okay, like these are the people that I'm like. I mean, it's good because like even if they do it, then you know that they mess with you, and it's a very easy list to be like, okay, like if I have 10 people that are staking, whether like they're gonna make money off of area or whatever, like I have a list of people that I could reward specifically. Like it's like, okay, like these people went through the extra friction to stake, and they're like true believers. So if I have an upcoming like collaboration with like some kind of artist, I'm like, I'm gonna reward them. It's that simple, you know. Like, and I try and spread like the rewards like across everyone. So I'll do like not just hyper sub, but I'll do like hyper sub plus like you get into a raffle if you own like a certain amount of the tokens. So, you just get to have more fun on chain. And that would be like another group or demographic of people that it's like, okay, they're strong believers of whatever it is that I'm building. So let's reward them.
Yeah, crypto is not Ethereum or Base, right? I think crypto is multi-chain. It's interoperable. Like interoperability is like baked into what crypto is all about. So, agreed with you. Exploring new communities outside of just Ethereum and Base. Um, I need to do better at that too. To be honest, I feel like I didn't come from Ethereum when I started my crypto journey. I came from Ethereum aligned chains, but then I've never left. So for a little bit, I did play around with like the Bitcoin community, but I do think that we do need to look into other communities like Solana, which are doing really amazing work at extending crypto to consumer experiences, which is exactly why we're all here. I think is we want to make crypto a consumer product that people can use everywhere, that they don't necessarily need to see the tech, the underlying tech, right? We don't need to browse the internet and realize that we're using HTTP or HTML, right, in order to like function. We're just using the internet. And so we need to promote and interact and collaborate with projects that are doing that. And I think, yeah, you're right. All these different projects that you mentioned are uh, worthy of recognition, and we should be doing better. So I'm with you. I'm learning from you, Raven, for sure. Things that you're doing with media and Gramajo, with the way that you structure uh, your community or how you integrate, should I say, your community to the things that you're doing. By the way, I'm still waiting on my pin. I don't know if I sent you my address.
Dude. No, I'm gonna follow up. I have to follow up with Peachy too. I tried sending it via a flat envelope. Let's just say it didn't go well.
Oh no!
So don't do that.
Beep
I,
beep
I,
beep beep.
I,
Something metallic in here.
yeah, exactly. So I finally got it's like down right here in the corner. I got like some padded envelopes, so I will retry and I will be sending everything to everyone. So yeah, I'll follow up with you and PG after this.
Dope.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
are cool
Humpty, I
pins.
still want to rock all my Crypto Sapiens merch, and I might have to send you might have to send me like a hat or something for Japan because I can take really cool photos with merch while I'm there. So I have to have something that I can like
Yeah.
stick in the photos, and even if it's a little Crypto Sapiens brain on a stick, I need like something as like a little mascot so I can take some cool cherry blossom photos for you.
Wait. By the way, I like that you called me out. You're like, shut up, Humpty. Don't call Gramajo out. I've been waiting for a freaking year. I just remembered. I was like, wait, I had two people that I owed things to. I totally forgot you were one of them. I swear you took a bag. Did you not take a bag with anything?
No, I did not. I just like broke Humpty. I'm sorry.
Yikes. Okay. Well, now that you're back in the States, send me wherever you want me to send it to you, and I'll send it to you.
Epic, because
Um,
yeah, I'll rock all the merch.
yeah.
Like I stand out enough in Japan, like being a foreigner, so it's like
Yeah.
I will wear anything. Except somebody gave me like one of those neon orange Bitcoin hoodies, and I was like, this is too much. Like
Yeah.
I can only go so far, and I was like, I could do that at like ETH Denver, like it would work as streetwear
Yeah.
in the States, but in Japan it would be like you're being way too loud. Like the color palette there is shades of gray, and neon orange would just be pushing it a little too far.
You could be in Harajuku though. That would be fine there.
I would totally fit in there. That would
Yeah.
be like the one place in Tokyo I could get away with it. But I feel
Uh,
like I don't hang out in Tokyo much, so the rest of Japan would be
ah.
like, "Did you see that crazy foreigner wearing the neon orange sweatshirt? Like, what is she thinking?" Like, I would get talked about. I would stand out too much.
Yeah. All right. Fair. So sorry, Gramajo, for calling you out. Apparently, I got hit with a stick.
That was so funny.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll wait for your pin. Meanwhile, I have a huge bag of stuff to send over to Peachy. I totally forgot. I'm sorry. Okay. By the way, Capsule 2. Okay,
Oh, the
I have my qualms with
doodles.
that. I have my qualms with that. They wanted me to pay shipping and handling for each one. What is their problem, bro?
I couldn't combine it either. I just gave up and paid the ransom.
No, I'm not doing it. They're still there in my shopping cart. I'm like, I'm not paying for collection one separately from collection 2. I've bought them both from you. They're in the same shopping cart.
I know.
It's
I
so
have issues with
stupid.
doodles now.
And I'm waiting for my airdrop and then I'm out. That's yeah,
Okay, but
that's
they
my
look
hot take.
cool. I
They're
remember
cute.
like seeing them come out. I was like, this is kind of adorable. I don't have a doodle, so I was kind of waiting to see like what came out after. And then I ran into what you guys ran into. A bunch of people were saying you
Yeah.
had to pay for each one individually, and that made them quite pricey, especially
Yeah.
for outsiders. So I was like,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'll just pretend and enjoy the art, instead of
Oh,
owning the physical merch.
If you if you go to FartCon, I can give you one in person.
there you
Oh,
go.
boom, I'm going. That's it. Coming back from Japan, going to
There
FarCon.
you
Sold.
go. Okay. Hey, if you come
Yeah,
back from FarCon or to FarCon, I'll bring the package there.
Perfect.
yeah, because
Perfect.
I'm pretty much like I don't need 6 or whatever. So I was like, I'm gonna trade. I want to trade
Nice.
some basically at FartCon.
Ooh, let's go.
I'm going full Disneyland.
I know. Are you gonna bring your little sash?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just
we'll
got
trade
this one too.
flair.
Ooh,
Oh,
what is
that looks
that?
tight.
Is that
This is
Puma?
my local coffee shop, like where I grew up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see what I got here. I normally keep them at my desk. I got this one. It's a little mushroom.
Oh, that one's sick.
What does it say? I'm a fun guy.
That's
And then
clever.
I got, this one is already promised to Gramajo, I think,
Yeah. I want that.
the pizza dough pin. So definitely we'll bring that. All right, let's see. Pins. We'll put a pin on that.
Damn
Oh,
boomer.
yes. Cap. Thanks, man. Capsule 2 for Crypto Sapiens should be launched at FarCon NYC. I'm going to have to figure that out quickly because Capsule 0, which was the hat, that's been out for like years. Whatever was left over was thrown in a bag in FarCon. But Capsule 1 was the tote bag, the t-shirt, and the hoodie, which the hoodie was loved by the people. I might be bringing some like vinyl stick-ons for people with the hoodie, including Peachy, that are going to have all the different tokens that have launched on Farcaster. So because it's blank in the front, you could put Degen, you could put Higher, you could put Moxie, whatever you want. You can put iron that onto the front of your shirt, your jersey. Um, but Capsule 2, I don't know what it is. Probably is going to be another hat, just because I love hats. Stay tuned. Maybe an orange skull cap, just so that Raven has something to wear.
I love it. No, I feel like this is the evolution, right? Because like it's one thing to have stuff in your wallet. Um, you've got it, like it's on your phone, it's digital, but there's something special about having things you can touch. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that whole thing of going from digital to physical is still like very, very early, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's finding that sweet spot of like what do people like, what do people need, and what will end up in the real world and not just sitting on a shelf, right? Because like I have a lot of cool collectibles that collect dust because they live in a box or they live on a space, and it's like how can I bridge this to like things that I can actually take out in the real world that people can see and say, oh, that's cool, what is that? And
Mm-hmm.
that's how you bring it back to like, oh, this was a Doodles McDonald's collaboration, do you know what Doodles are? Like it has
Mm-hmm.
to be that talking point. And I feel like that's when we kind of bring in more normal people who see your t-shirt and say, oh, that's a cool t-shirt, what brand is that? And be like, oh, it's not a brand, it's an NFT, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I I still think that's like so early for NFTs and, hyper subs and things like that. Like Sam's Candle Club is really, I think, the first thing that I was able to
Yeah.
explain to my family, like, hey, I bought these with crypto, and like they smell really good and it's like a real thing they can see. But that one's kind of like unique because it's not really an NFT. So explaining to them how like NFT art transitions into the real world and I don't have things to show them is still like really hard. And that's how I
Mm-hmm.
know like we're so early because, it will get that way eventually. Like we'll see more in real life merch, but it's rough, and it's like shipping and logistics and people don't want to be doxxed and how do you actually make this happen? Like it's hard.
Yeah.
And I know Sam has been struggling with that with like people that want to buy candles but don't necessarily like want to hand over their shipping address, and people have been collaborating with like, oh, you can get like a box from UPS or something and use whatever name you want. Like, so there's little like hacks and workarounds, but it still takes a lot of effort to stay anonymous and connect your NFTs to your real life. So I'm interested to see what you come up with for Capsule 2.
Yeah, and I like this idea of like Farcon being the convergence point. Like it used to be for me, ETH Denver, and I'm planning on going, but ETH Denver for me was like the kickoff event, the convergence point for crypto, at least in the US. Farcon is quickly replacing that, only because I feel like it's culturally speaking, for me, much more stronger than ETH Denver. ETH Denver, to their credit, they were early. They've been doing this for a long time, but I feel it's just gotten too big for its own britches. Where it's crazy. It's loud. It's a COVID hotspot. Everybody usually comes out sick, whereas like Farcon feels a lot more curated, and I'm much more aligned with the people there. So, because of that, I feel much more strongly about Farcon, and I'm definitely a lot more active, or I'm more excited, I should say, about that. And because of that, I want to do my drop for Farcon. I also have more time to produce something for Farcon because ETH Denver's around the corner, end of February. It'll be going on. So that could be it, guys. We don't have to overextend this. We've reached the hour and a half point. I realized we got rugged on X a while ago, so I just tweeted out the link to YouTube. So if you wanted to share a link to your fans, use the YouTube link because X got rugged like 11 minutes in. I didn't even realize that. I thought we were still on. But on YouTube, it's been recording and streaming the whole time. So share that with your friends. And I still need to figure out how we can chop up little bits of all of these things and just do shorts. Maybe I'll work with Raven on figuring that out because we have 13 episode backlog, and I'm sure a lot of really cool bits and pieces that we've talked about from the beginning that should be going out to our community. So,
Well, speaking of shorts, do you guys think TikTok is really going away? Because if
hell
so,
no. Hell
YouTube
no.
Shorts are going to take off, right? But like, is it going to happen? I'm so torn.
Post
Like,
it, post both. Post it on both.
Yeah.
If you're posting on TikTok, post it on YouTube Shorts as well, and just keep repurposing. Because yeah, I don't think so, but we don't know. You don't
If I
know.
had the pockets, I would buy TikTok. How about that? Someone with pockets has to buy TikTok. The ad revenue monetization of TikTok is way too high to like ignore it.
I
Because
mean,
they
that
don't
would
their
be
creator share
fascinating.
is low, if anything. Is it 2% with creators? Ad revenue,
I'm
2%?
not sure.
I know YouTube is probably the most democratic. I think it's like 55% to creators. Everywhere else it's either zero, which is Instagram. I thought TikTok is 2%. So that's a lot of revenue to like leave on the table. Um, and if the US bans it, it's going to be banned in the UK next and everywhere else. So someone buy
God,
it.
wouldn't that be crazy if Meta dark horsed it and bought TikTok?
Oh, oh, you ruined
God.
it. You
Well,
ruined the dream.
because I mean, because who else has the money, right? Like Apple, Amazon,
Amazon.
Google.
I could see Amazon doing it. They already got Twitch. Why wouldn't they buy? Wait, no, never mind. I think Twitch is Microsoft.
No, no, it's Amazon.
Okay.
Amazon's part. I don't know if they bought Twitch, but I know that they have a partnership with them to where you can, like, watch their videos, movies, and things like that. If you have an Amazon account and stream,
Oh, then it's Amazon. So someone
yeah,
bought it for sure. I remember it was the big fangs. So okay, so there you go. It's Amazon. Like it makes sense. Like Twitch is long form or stream content, and TikTok is short form. Done.
I
Makes
mean,
sense.
that would be crazy because so okay, TikTok makes a lot of content. I think they get like a billion pieces of content every hour, something obnoxious like this, right? And their algorithm for figuring out like who's underaged and like what's inappropriate is like pretty spot on. Like they are actively taking stuff down constantly. So I feel like somebody else who does video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Twitch or YouTube, I would buy it just for that. Just for like the content moderation stuff they have in there. Like there is a bunch of tech on their back end stack that's amazing that
Mm-hmm.
you could really leverage and use. Like YouTube is always going after copyright. They're really good with audio. So a lot of people you'll see like take down audio streams and rebroadcast NFL games and all that crazy stuff because YouTube is bad at going through frame by frame and trying to match if this is like copyrighted content, but
Mm-hmm.
TikTok is really good at that. So I could see a case for like Google to buy it or for Amazon to buy it and then even start, maybe licensing some of this tech where TikTok just can't monetize that way. So
That's a good point.
I'm interested to see if like in the shadows some dark horse is like standing there ready to throw bajillions of dollars at them. But that would really change the game, I think, because I wonder if like do you think the kids, and I mean like the literal kids, would still be all over TikTok if it was owned by one of these, giant conglomerates that they think are kind of boomer tech? Or would they not care because it would be siloed enough that like the brand is strong enough?
Here's my boomer case for why Amazon makes sense. And I'll tell you right now, one of the biggest monetization ways that people monetize their content on TikTok right now is affiliate sales. And a lot of these sales end up happening on Amazon. So Amazon can then link the shopping experience directly to TikTok. So if they have a streaming platform like TikTok where people are like putting up content that says, "Hey, go buy this product," immediately goes to Amazon. Makes sense.
Isn't there a Chinese app that's the whole thing? Right? Like it's shopping, but it's kind of like QVC on TikTok, where it's like only for certain hours you can buy specific products, and it's all like the influencers have them in advance and like spend 20 minutes showing you like why you should buy this random Instapot or whatever it is. I can't remember the name of this company, but I feel like there's an app that's just dedicated to shopping. So it's like
Yeah.
TikTok meets shopping, and that actually would be a cool that'd be a cool thing. Like I would trust somebody who's doing like a live demo, like in a live stream review, more than I would ever trust like a curated 45-second, you know, kind of Instagram post trying to sell me something. But if
Yep.
somebody was like cooking in an Instapot live,
Yep.
and showing me like, look at how cool this came out, and
Yep.
I'd be like, oh, click, I'll take that.
Cyber Monday, Black Friday would go through the roof using TikTok and Amazon shopping, I think. Um, I learned over the holiday break because my cousin she's younger. She's definitely a Gen Z, and she's on TikTok a lot. And there's this app called Lemonade, and that is also powered by TikTok, and it's like Pinterest, but they save all of these things that they find on TikTok to curate their list of you know um, things to buy or things to wear, and then they can shop directly from the app. So it's just another data point for TikTok in terms of like not just what people are watching, but what people are connecting with and what people plan to buy. All these things are like superpowers for Amazon. So to me, it just makes a lot of sense for it to be bought by a company that has a shopping mega mall versus another social app like Facebook. I don't think that that's the right fit. YouTube maybe, but I just think that the whole like TikTokers really like to monetize through shopping experiences, and Amazon is the best case scenario for that. All right. And with that, we'll close it out. Thank you, Gramajo, Raven, Peachy, and Tree Girl, who had to bounce about an hour ago, for joining us this week. This was fun. Excited to see what y'all share on Farcaster and cast something to the Crypto Sapiens channel. Excited to have you, participate in this claim that's potentially going to happen by the end of the week.
Yeah, I gotta get up there on that ranking.
It was
Come,
great to hear your voices, everybody. See you next week.
welcome
Great
back,
to have you
PG.
back.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you guys.
All righty. I like how Gramajo just bounced. It's like, wait, gotta make sure your stream closed, buddy. Everybody's but Ravens is done.
Oh,
There,
nice.
Ravens is done.
I
Oh,
was
baby, you
like,
got a new setup.
Yeah, I got a new apartment, so I'm in a new space for at least a couple of months, getting settled. But yeah, it's a process piecing everything together. I'm in a loft, and so I couldn't bring up that chair that I found on the side of the street. That was like amazing. I'm like still trying to figure out how I can maybe take it apart and bring it up because this chair that I have is terrible. Like my back is killing me sitting here, and so I'm just like, man, I got to figure something out because as much time as I sit and work and just like sit at this space, I gotta I gotta feel okay. Like yeah, so. But I'm grateful to at least be in a new place. I can sit and gather my thoughts instead of having to leave in a month. So it'll be nice to once I get everything worked out. But it has been a process.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
you're all situated.
all
Yeah.
right, guys, y'all have
Thanks.
a great week. I'll catch you soon.
Yeah. You as well. See you
Bye.
on Warpcast.
Bye. See you guys on the
See ya.
Farcaster.
Bye. Cheers.